Alright, hello everyone, welcome to episode 23 of my Blackburn Rovers Football Manager 2017 save. Now, as promised, we've got Man United coming up in the Premier League. If we go to our schedule, the last game you guys saw in the last episode was, of course, kind of an important game that we lost. It was a 2-1 loss against Southampton, against the Saints and their really weird stadium, which only had 2 stands. Anyways, so yeah, we were really unfortunate to lose that game. Really lucky goal for Dusan Tadic in the 86th minute, but yeah, if you've not seen that match, go back and check the previous episode, then come back to this one. As some of you will also know, we had a replay up against Scunthorpe in the FA Cup. We really should have beat them in the first leg. Very, very fortunate not to get knocked out. They are a League One side, I think. Yeah, they're 8th in the in League One. A Danny Graham penalty saved us last time round, and this time round, well, to be fair, they put up a decent fight as well. Like, granted, we weren't playing a full string side, but it did take Andre Gray and Gouffran to still appear, which isn't really great from a fitness perspective, but we did get through in the end, which meant that we were to progress into the 5th round. And then we lost 4-0 against West Ham. Now, West Ham, we lost 3-1 against them early on in the season, and we've lost 4-0 against them later on in the season. Credit where it's due to, I've got no idea how to say that, Şenol Güneş, maybe, their Turkish manager, but he's got me in his back pocket, so fair play to him. And it's really a game I would have liked to have won or at least drawn, because as you can see, West Ham are also another team that are competing for that final Europa League spot. And I think come the end of the season, I think the top 4, or the top 3 at least, are pretty much set in stone, and it's going to be one hell of a fight for 4th and 5th place. But we've got a lot of competition behind us, especially when you consider that even Leicester, could easily get back into this race, and we've got teams like Newcastle, Liverpool and Chelsea behind us, and Spurs as well, of course. So not going to be easy, and really a game against West Ham, a game we probably should have gotten at least something out of. Now, I discussed this in the last episode. We knew that we were going to be facing Brighton because, of course, Brighton didn't have to play a replay for their FA Cup game, so the draw was done. They knew they were going to play either Scunthorpe or Blackburn Rovers, and because we beat Scunthorpe, we had to play Brighton, and that's right, you guessed it, we beat them as well, which means we are going to be in the FA Cup 6th round after this game. And then I always promised the Man United game and then the Tottenham game, but I'm not going to promise that anymore. Instead, I'm promising the Man United game for this episode, and then Arsenal Spurs for the next episode. I think it's safe to say the next few episodes are going to be lit, and bar these games, we still have Leicester, Liverpool and Man City to face come the end of the season. So it's going to be a hectic end of the season. But we're up against Man United. Our form in the league has been a bit meh. 2 losses in a row. A loss against Southampton, a loss against West Ham. Sure, we beat Stoke 3-1. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. We beat Stoke 3-1. And those of you guys who will have been following will know that Claudio is a very important player for us in central midfield. He's been out injured for a while. And boom, he comes back, hat-trick. Phenomenal play from this guy. We can take a quick look at his goals. It's kind of disappointed not to keep the clean sheet, but Stoke really have built up quite a decent side. Mame Biram Diouf, the goal scorer for Stoke, ex-Blackburn Rovers player. I think we had him on loan from Man United once upon a time. But, over the moon for Claudio, not only to come back after such a long injury out and grab a goal, but of course, to get a hat-trick, which for a central midfielder is really unbelievable. Great cross from James McLean. Claudio pops up, gets straight into the box. Sanogo, our striker, nowhere to be found. And I was talking about the fixture congestion early on. I'm not sure if you guys know about this. I don't think you do, actually. Andre Gray's injured. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, Andre Gray's kind of injured. Unlucky strike there from Claudio. He was hungry, he wanted more, so he kept building out the back. Please, FM, just show us the goal. Stop wasting my time. But yeah, Andre Gray is injured and he's out for a very, very, very long time, which is why Sanogo is playing. And when you consider Andre Gray is our top scorer with 17 goals, Another header from Kadura. I don't know how the end of this season's going to go. I guess I've got to keep faith in Sanogo. He's been dreadful this season. He's really not done much in the Premier League this season, but we've just got to keep the faith that the next few run of games that he has up alongside Danny Graham comes to something, because Andre Gray's our top scorer, 17 goals all on his own this season, and you know, with the teams we've got coming up, we've got at least another 5 games to go until Andre Gray's even back in contention, and then his form might drop. But here we go, third goal, Conway till Italic to McLean, who finds Augustinson out on the left, and eventually we will find the goal scorer in Kadura. And talking about Sanogo, lovely back heel from him, and there it was. He sealed his hat-trick there, so fair play to the Algerian. But yeah, quick look at, because quite a lot has happened since the last episode, a quick look at Andre Gray. I think out of all the players, I didn't want to get injured. It was going to be this lad. 16 goals so far this season, even though I swear it says 17 on the homepage. 17 goals. Why does it say he's got 16 here? Oh, because he's got 1 in the cup. Fair enough, that makes sense. But yeah, 16 goals in the Premier League this season, and he's out for 5 to 7 weeks with a double hernia. Can't quite remember what match it happened in, but that was it. The fixture congestion. You know, we could have done without that FA Cup replay, and unfortunately, the reason why he's playing so much because he's such a key player for us, and he's gone now. He's gone. So it's going to be all up to this man in Yaya Sanogo to try and replace him. And I'll tell you what, he's got some massive boots to fill. But if we remember our championship promotion season last season, Sanogo really was on fire. 20 goals from 42 appearances and 6 assists, where he linked up really well with Danny Graham. So can he cut it in the Premier League? So far, he's been proving that he can't, basically. And we need to find a way to start getting him to score goals. We've also had the youth intake for this year. And I'm not going to focus on all the youth players that have come in, really. But this is one of them. Brian Mackin, a left-back by trade. 4-star potential, but let's be honest, he's not exactly going to light the world on fire. If his marking and tackling can maybe get around the 12 mark by the time he's, I don't know, like 22, 23, then we might be able to sell him on and make a decent amount of money for him. But with crossing at 5, he's never really going to light the world on fire. And of course, we've got Nigel Hassel, who you may have spotted in my previous video, which was about how I find regens. This guy has potential. You know, he's got the physical stats. His pace could be a little bit better, but he's only 16 years old. And he's got decent crossing as well, decent dribbling. So this guy has potential. He's got 17 determination, which is good, so he's going to have to make sure he works hard. The only thing I'm not really a big fan of is he's not really much of a dribbler, not really much of a shooter, so with him being right-footed, it might make sense to try and turn him into more of a Ryan Giggsy, all-out-and-out style winger, and train him to be able to play on the right-hand side. But that's it as far as regens are concerned. And talking about Man United, they are top of the league. They have the best defence in the league right now. We take a look at their predicted lineup. Antoine Griezmann up front. How many goals he's got this season? 18 goals in 26 appearances from him this season. I think he scored against us early on in the season. 55 million is what they paid for him from Atletico Madrid. Other than that, they've interestingly still got Schneiderlin, and De Vrij is also a player who's coming to their side, signed for 19.75 million from Lazio. So at the moment, not really sure what to expect, but well, actually, I do know what to expect. It's going to be a very, very difficult game. The last time we played them early on in the season, which I believe was here, our Baker was saved by Danny Graham penalty. So the question now is, can Danny Graham come up with the goods again? So off to Old Trafford we go, and I wouldn't say this is a massive or a must-win game for us, but at this point, with Andre Gray out, we need all the points we can get. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to Old Trafford. The big game between Rovers and Man United commences. Kaianai against Jose Mourinho. So here we go. What are we expecting from Man United? We're expecting a 4-1-4-1 or a 4-2-3-1, as it kind of looks like. And basically for Man United to be playing in a typical Mourinho way, direct counter-attacking football. Their starting lineup, only one surprise really from what we expected. Miguel San Jose comes in, who looks like a very, very tidy player, to be honest, defensive midfielder-wise, in the middle of the park. A player they signed for 30 million last season from Atletico Bilbao. So you can see Jose Mourinho is buying the Premier League at the moment, and it's, to be fair to him, it's working for him. As far as we're concerned, we've kind of stuck with what I currently consider our strongest lineup, bar the inclusion of Andre Gray up front. A bit of scouting beforehand kind of tells me that Man United aren't exactly the best tackling side in the league. So we should really be looking to try and hold on to the ball, not really play into how they want to counter-attack, and take a slow approach and a very cautious, careful approach. But with this guy coming in to the side, it was kind of a bit of a surprise. I was expecting Schneiderlin, more of a playmaker, to be in midfield. That may very well change. The other interesting thing I noticed was that they concede most of their goals in the last 15 minutes of each game, so that's why we're going to try and start off defensive. Every time we basically come up against Mourinho's Man United, we've always done relatively well, even when we were a championship side, just by parking the bus and keeping as many players behind the ball as possible and playing them at their own game, because they struggle to deal with it. The fullbacks will look to bomb forward a lot, particularly on this right-hand side. I really want Gouffran to make a difference up against Luke Shaw. And we'll just have to see what happens and try and adapt as the game goes on. But yeah, team instruction-wise, everything's pretty much standard, bar the fact that we're no longer trying to play with an offside trap, and we've dropped our defensive line a little bit along with our tempo. Like I said, we want to try and hold on to the ball a little bit more, and we don't want to overcomplicate things defensively and play with too much of a high line because of the sheer amount of pace this Man United team possesses. 7 minutes into the game, we've got 71% possession, which is what we want, until we concede a corner. We've not been very good at defending corners so far this season. Great pass to Anthony Martial. Oh, come on. Can't let him run all the way from there. Not good enough. Right, time to change our mentality now. Change our mentality, standard mentality. Let's start improving things. Rubbish throw out from Steele, our goalkeeper. I'm going to be really frustrated. We've conceded a lot of sloppy goals recently. We don't want to go too attacking and end up sending too many men forward. As long as we look like we're competing within the game, I'm happy with that. But we're always going to struggle against a team with Man United's quality, and you can see that already in the stats. And it's important we don't lose the ball here. That's twice now that Fabio's caught asleep, the ex-Man United man. No way Mulgrew's going to be able to catch up with Martial. But there's a shot on goal, and the warning signs are there, and we're just not playing good enough. Demand more of the players and see where that takes us. We might have to change our approach going into the second half. Here we go. We've parked the bus. We've got a free kick. Let's hope it doesn't get given away. And you know what? Let's hope that Augustinson can actually get a cross into the box from here. Dumic will pick the ball up. Important that we keep this slow and steady tempo. Of course, when you turn your tempo down, it increases your pass successfulness, and Gouffran loses the ball, and this is where Man United are at their most dangerous, on the counter. Anthony Martial cuts inside. We've got to win this ball back. Luke Shaw picks it up though, whips the ball in. Juan Mata scores. 15th goal of the season. Unbelievable. Mata and Mourinho continue. but he's regretting selling from Chelsea now, but flipping heck, last second before the second half. I mean, to be honest, we've not been competing all of this second half, and I've said it a million times before for people that have regularly watched my series. I hate conceding in the first 10 and last 10 minutes of each half. Flipping heck, we've got to change this around. Our two strikers are basically being completely ineffective, and the question is, how are we going to turn around? How are we going to turn this game around? A part of me thinks that we're just going to have to go more direct, really, and play a dirty game and go with that kind of approach. And quite simply, defend slightly deeper, up our tempo a little bit, aim to close down a little bit more, go with a more direct passing approach and see where that takes us. I want to try and exploit the right flank as well, because I know that that's an area where they've had a fair amount of problems. But again, I do feel like without Andre Gray, we're really going to struggle in the Premier League, even though we have, been punching above our weights. And how frustrated am I going to be if we concede now? Rubbish header from James McClean. Martial picks it up, who, to be fair, has been brilliant for Man United so far. That's a great tackle from Claudio. Needs to win the ball back, which he does. Sonogo and Graham relive the years and roll back the years to their championship days. But what are we doing? The way we keep losing the ball is just... That's both goals now that we've only got ourselves to blame for. It's like Andre Gray ain't playing. I said it at the start of the season. That's why I paid, 1.4 million for Andre Gray. Simply because I knew without a decent striker, this team was going to get torn to shreds. And now that we're without him, now that he's not scoring our goals, we're not really getting anything. The question is, how do you change this around when you're me? I guess a lot of people would argue you've kind of just got to concede defeat, I guess. But that's not how I work. Gouffran's going to move over to the right and play as a winger to try and cause Luke Shaw problems. Craig Conway's going to come on. He just always seems to have something about him when he's needed most. And we'll try and get Steele to start hoofing the ball forward as well. It's probably something I should have changed at half-time, if I'm honest. So rather than getting over opposition defence, take long kicks and try and get that ball forward. Try and get that ball to Yaya Sonogo. Stop trying to work the ball into the box. Just bloody get that ball into the box and get stuck in. And I'm going to aggressively demand more because we've really not even been in this game. It's easy to see why Man United are top of the league, but it's alarming for me that we are just not performing without Andre Gray and the manner in which we conceded both goals. One thing that we've always... Right, next match. Danny Graham in a 4-2-3-1 up front on his own, I guess. Right, we're out of strikers. Remember when I was saying that, we could make a push for the Europa League? And it would be nice if our owners just gave me, 3 or 4 mil just to strengthen now that we're in a decent position in the top half of the league and we're guaranteed to stay up. Remember when I said that? Yeah, not going to happen because they didn't give me any money in January. The only player I signed was a little regen, right, who... The only player I signed was a regen. Bloody hell. Just try and score. Grab 1 goal back. Give me a break. The only player we signed was a regen because they gave me no money in the summer, in January. And this is what happens when injuries catch up. I mean, going into the transfer window, we had problems with players like Kadura out and Gouffran out. And now he's injured. So, to add insult to injury, Man United... I've turned this into a wrestling match. And I guess they deservedly are probably going to win this game 3-0 now. Luke Shaw will cross the ball into the box and will concede yet another one. Steele somehow manages to save that. Disgusting. Not what I wanted. Direct ball towards Danny Graham. Martial will pick it up. Play the ball towards Ibra. I'm not even sure what this highlight's trying to show me right now. It's worrying. We're not even winning that ball in midfield. Latalik not even fighting for it. Bernardeschi will make it 3-0. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And it's not even Man United playing well. It's us being just dreadful, We went with the high line. We're on bloody overload trying to grab a goal to give our fans something to smile about. And, we've got to pay the price now. You can see how forward our wing-backs are coming. We lose the ball. Man United to counter-attack and make it 4-0 now, probably. I want to really... I don't like blaming my players. I didn't make that many tweaks coming into this game. We had a game plan though, and is this seriously a highlight for a yellow card? Throwing an elbow. We only have ourselves to blame for the first 2 goals. Third goal was always going to be conceded with how offensive we were playing, but we've not played well. And they're going to make it 4. I don't even know. I can't even explain why Kajura got sent off there. Don't be harsh on the players. The result wasn't ideal. They were shit. Most of my frustration isn't at losing. It's at the fact that Gouffran's injured, Sanogo's injured, and Kajura has been sent off. Sanogo's only out for 4 to 8 days, but he's got to step his game up, this lad. He's not really started reliving the form that he had in the Championship. Gouffran is, on the other hand, how long's he out for? 3 to 5 weeks. Injured again. Such an important player for us this season, and it's the second time he gets injured. And now my dream and hopes for even a top half finish is slowly fading away. All the teams around us had money to spend in January and strengthened. We had peanuts in the summer. We got given nothing in January, and this is what happens. And I've got high ambitions, to be honest, and I'm not happy with the bottom half finish, but it looks like that's what we're going to have to settle with. This fixture congestion as well. Don't think we're going to beat Arsenal in the FA Cup 6th round. If we then lose to Tottenham, I don't think we can afford more than 2 losses between Tottenham and Man City. Otherwise, we're going to stand absolutely no chance of making a Europa League spot. And if that's the case, then we might as well just finish mid-table, hope we beat Arsenal, and try and win the FA Cup. But that's going to be it for this episode. It's been pretty good up until this point, you know, a lot of green. But this is it, guys. I always said that injuries were eventually going to cause us problems, and it's happening. And Kajura's red card doesn't really help either. Disappointed to lose 3-0 against Man United. But we've got to try and stay positive, look at the bright side, and just say, bring on the 2 North London clubs in Arsenal and Tottenham. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and see you next time.